December 2017, I saw my mom about 10 days before she passed away. I was down in Florida to celebrate my niece's quinceañera, 15 years old. And so when I was with my mom during that time, getting ready to leave back to Atlanta, my mom said to me, I know that when the day comes that I pass away, you're going to know exactly what to do. She was only able to say that because we had this conversation. You see me and my mom on the left picture, we were hanging out in church. We vibed all the time in church. Mom was a youth leader. She was known for her frankness, for her honesty. She was very, very straightforward. One of her favorite sayings was, she needs to know what side your bread is buttered on. She didn't like having to figure people out. So she was very,
is the presentation still showing? Is it on YouTube?
The center picture was the day of my graduation from law school, where I presented my mother with an award for being a most supportive loved one during my law school journey, where she cared for my youngest son at the time while I went through the grind of law school. Honesty. She was very, very straightforward. One of her favorite sayings was, she needs to know what.
Yeah, it's showing.
Okay.
To join me to celebrate the graduation of my son from his master's degree program. She was amazing. She was my best friend, and losing her was very, very hard. And as though that wasn't hard enough, 9 months later, for this guy, my brother, to pass away, this broke me. It broke my heart. It was so sudden, so unexpected. You see, my brother and I, we were only 18 months apart. He died just weeks before his 38th birthday from cancer, which was diagnosed very, very late stage. I was there for his first day of chemotherapy, and 7 days later, he was gone. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about how this sudden loss impacts all of us and the things that we should be thinking about our estates. But suffice it to say, this was a breaking point for me in terms of my outlook on life, my desires, and figuring out what is life really all about. Why are we here? We were ready. So at this point, all of the family I grew up with as a child has passed away. And our family, our loved ones, they're the reason why we're here. And as we're working and as we're going through life, we are accumulating wealth. We're accumulating wealth in many different ways, and we're all having an opportunity to become more legacy-minded about what we're actually leaving behind. What kind of situation will our loved ones have to navigate? What blessings are we leaving? As a Black attorney and having conversations with other attorneys about the Black community, we struggle with helping our community understand that there is an estate. You have an estate. You have wealth. Many Black people do not plan and do not have an estate plan in place simply because we don't always understand the wealth that we have. We have human capital. What we do has value. We have knowledge. The things that we learn has value. In fact, there's an African proverb that says that when a man, or old man or woman dies, a library burns to the ground. This is absolutely true. What you have belongs to the next generation if you will be mindful to think of it in that way, that this is wealth that you're passing on. The relationships, social capital, and collaborations that you engage in with other people, your community, this is value. And more now than ever before, your online property, your files, your rewards, your points, your information is one of the greatest estates that you can imagine. And there are reasons why communities of color, minority communities, lower income working class communities do not plan. One of the first ones that comes to mind for me is a lack of trust. Coming from a culture where we have been historically oppressed and mistreated, we're not the most trusting people. And there's a good reason for that. There's also the issue of not knowing. Not knowing is a really big problem. In fact, one of the scriptures says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. And so now we're in an age of information. So to not know is really like a choice. But this was one of the reasons why many of us did not plan. And another reason why many of us have not planned is because of the spiritual concept of stewardship. It was Jesus who taught that when we can be trusted with little, then we can be trusted with even more. Like being trusted with information and making plans for that information. This might seem like a little thing, but it's really, really a big deal. Like we talked about before, the type of value and the type of wealth that you have that you may not have considered as well. And a basic estate plan includes a will, which is instructions for what happens when you're dead. An advanced medical directive, instructions for what happens while you're still alive, but you can't make your own medical decisions. A medical surrogate is someone who's not related to you necessarily, but who you can appoint to have access to your medical information, talk to your doctors. This is a tool that's only available in the state of Florida right now. But a medical surrogate is a very, very useful tool, especially for aging seniors. Power of attorney is a tool that operates so long as you live, giving your trusted loved one the power to act on your behalf in conducting your affairs. And of course, there's life insurance and long-term care plans. These are essential tools that we should all be having conversations with our close loved ones, our children, our siblings. We should have this plan in place. Who needs a will? Traditionally, really only estates with like real property, like if people own houses or land, things that had to pass with a title were the type of estates where you needed a will. But now, if you are watching this presentation, you are in a virtual space. Your access to the virtual world means that you also need a will. Remember when you first opened your email account or your social media account, or maybe when you
Bodies cannot be done.
or some type of membership rewards program, when you open that account, you agreed to stuff. It may have been called terms and conditions, user agreement, but the bottom line is that you entered into a whole lot of contracts, countless contracts, with these different content custodians. I agree is the bottom line. Now, why is this important? Is because what you agree to is not only legally binding on you. See, these website owners, they protected themselves with those user agreements, and they know what you agreed to. Because what you agreed to is what your behavior is going to be on their website during your lifetime, but even more importantly, it's governing what kind of access your loved ones will have once you pass away. So I was telling you about my brother and his story, and what is actually happening right now, we're actually involved in court proceedings simply to access my brother's MacBook. Many people don't realize, Apple users, when you signed up for that I agree hyperlink and creating your iCloud or your Apple user account, according to Apple, when you die, your data dies with you. And you know what? What's not happening is they're not budging because there is a legally binding contract in place. And unless a court says otherwise, you cannot, your loved ones cannot gain access to that data or that information that's in that cloud account. So this is really just going to mean more cost. More cost. It is hard when somebody passes away. It really is. And these virtual agreements, they're not going to be disregarded. If you file an uncontested proceeding, getting legal help with that, it's going to cost you $1,500, about $1,500, and these are estimates. But if you're fighting and nobody knows what the wishes were, and people think that there's something to gain by lawyering up and going into court and duking it out, more than $10,000 upwards will end up going to the court, to the attorneys. It is a nightmare. 100% avoidable, preventable, and unnecessary with the right plan.
Some shopping.
I have lost my whole house. You know, if you think if you think of like movies like Game of Thrones, like when you talk about somebody's house, all of those family members who were in that primary circle of love, my whole house passed away. And with each and every one of my losses, this was hard emotionally. Even with having my mom's marching orders, she told us, do not throw my money into the ground. I want to be cremated. Do not have a sad funeral. I don't want people wearing black at my funeral. I want people doing the bank handouts. This is actually what my mom said. My mom equipped us that we can have comfort and peace in knowing that when we executed her wishes, that we were doing her right. We were doing right by her. And I can't imagine how much harder it would have been to settle her affairs, to divide her property between me and my brother, if we did not already know what we needed, if she had not already equipped us with everything that we needed to settle her affairs. And we don't have to do that to the people that we are going to be leaving behind. We can leave for them the comfort of knowing and the documents that empower them to handle our business. So in honor of my mom, my dad, my brother, my auntie, my cousin, I'm having this conversation with you today, sharing my family story and my family journey to offer you Kingdom Plan 2020. And Kingdom Plan 2020 is a limited offer. In fact, I'm considering this a friends and family plan. And here's why. So you see, an attorney consultation, an hour of an attorney's time is $350 in the market. So there's a lot of value there. But let's talk about the other things that we're including in this plan. We're drafting a will for you. That's valued at $650. We're also preparing for you your power of attorney, valued at $250. An advanced medical directive, valued at $250. All of this is $1,500 worth of value, but because you are my people, you are my friends, you are my family, you are using some wisdom and you want to get your plan started today, I am empowering you to do right by yourself and by your loved ones by offering this plan to you for a limited time at only $577. This is truly a gift. This is because I am passionate about this area of the law. I'm passionate about families. I'm serious when I say to you that I understand how hard this is. My journey through my own family's estate has been very, very difficult to navigate. I had to take time off from work. I was placed on a medical leave because, like I told you, when my brother passed away, my heart broke. And as an attorney, everyone expects you to be strong. Everyone still needs their stuff taken care of. And I had to unplug from caring for everybody else in order to care for myself and really coping with the reality my people are gone. And so by doing your plan today, what you are doing is you're easing the burden of your loved ones. And I want to be a part of helping you do that because love plans are lost. See, one complete set of these documents is going to address everything. Final arrangements, your
Did you pause it?
Me?
Sure. Is that my internet? Doggone it.